everybody? Chadman and Randy Show. Thank you for joining us again. Hey, so the new intro's coming in and out. We got rid of the old one, and Randy and I were coming up with the new idea, so we kind of hope you like what we've been doing so far. Keep your suggestions coming. No Justin Bieber. I don't know who that was. David whatever who sent in Justin Bieber. I don't know if you're trying to be a smartass or if you're being, like, for real, but I'm not going to play Justin Bieber, and I know for a fact Randy ain't going to be down for it. So it was funny. Hey, so right now in studio I got Jacob from DryHippo. Was it DryHippo Media?
It's it's DryHippo, but the media was thrown in there kind of just by like, who are you guys? What do you guys do? Oh, we're a media company, DryHippo Media.
Okay, cool. So Jacob Shaw from DryHippo Media. You guys might have seen them on the promotion they did for us for the Bakersfield Rocks the Fox promotions going on for that show, and then you did everything. You were involved in the promotions, the videography. You know what, man? We took a good month and a half off, and how do I come about this the right way? We said, hey, anything you guys want promotion-wise, Bakes or Rocks the Fox, flyers, everything. Bethany Simmons, she's my girlfriend, she's my photographer, my graphic designer. She took a lot of time off to put towards the show for the community, for the event. And so we thought that would be, we had to put together, mix around schedules with realty companies that we shoot for, because we don't just focus just on shooting for businesses in town. We're trying to move into the movie scene, but to do that the right way, you have to be loved and respected by your community. There's a lot of people who come out in this town with no background, and they just think they can go buy a camera, and I mean, it's just like anybody, it's just like some idiot who thinks he can get some microphones and do a podcast, right?
Exactly. No, it comes down to, well, the thing about your community is if you have your community's respect and you have people behind you backing you, you're going to be able to walk into any venue you want. You're going to be able to find your actors, find your actors, find the right people, like how we're doing now, how we're networking. And, you can come out with this awesome movie, but if you have no audience and if you have no support, who's going to watch your film? You want 14 views, or do you want
14,000?
14,000. Yeah. There you go.
I feel what you're saying on that, man. Randy and I have a friend that works for a local radio station. He's actually probably has the largest talk show in town. And when he hasn't directly said anything about us doing podcasts, but he's gone on social media and kind of bashed podcasts. Because anybody with a microphone and a mixer and a computer can do a podcast. But what separates you from everybody else, and the reason I'm just hitting off that, is that you got to have substance. You got to know how to reach your audience. You got to know what people want to listen to. We've had shows that we've put out, and looking back, I'm like, oh, why did we do that? Exactly. But it's a learning process. The main thing I like about what you do and what I do is the networking.
Yes, business. I love small business.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even dare to say that I even know what I'm doing when it comes to business. I just know how to sit down on a microphone and talk. But it's fun getting out there and going into different events, different meetings, different places, and just networking. To me, that's the coolest shit ever. And what is also cool about podcasting is that you and I can sit here and we don't got to worry about going on TV or radio and not saying this or not saying that. We're completely open.
Exactly.
So let's get open for a minute, and let's talk about where you got started. How all this, you graduated high school and were like, you know what, I want to get into making movies, get into film.
What it comes down to is in high school, even before high school, middle school, I had a company called Shaw Films, and I shot skateboarding videos. I did
so you come from that generation.
Exactly.
How old are you right now?
I'm 24.
Okay, so you come, because I was all about the skateboarding dirt bike videos when I was in high school. I'm a little older. I'm 10 years older than you.
Gotcha. Yeah, damn, but 24. Let's go back all the way to where I was 13. Actually, let's go back to when I was 11 years old. I got a Gateway camera. No one really knows about Gateway computers anymore. I got a Gateway camera. I still have it to this day. It shot 1.4 megapixels.
The cows, right? That's the
with the cow box, exactly. And I shot videos off this camera. I did Shaw Cribs. You'd come into my home, and it was very funny. It was like, look at this.
What high school did you go to?
I went to Frontier High School.
Dude, that wasn't even built when I got out.
Hey, exactly. So, and I lived right in the platform community that was geared towards that. So in middle school, I went to Norris. I'm Bakersfield born, raised. I went to Norris Elementary for 5th grade. I was originally from Van Horn. So getting back to the story, I got a Gateway camera, and I got it for Christmas, but when I was 9, before I was even 11, when I was 9, I went to Universal Studios. My parents made it my birthday and my Christmas gift because, we kind of needed to make ends meet. So here I am, my dad's a construction worker, my mom's going into nursing school. No one in my family is wrapped around media. And the only thing I had was my headset growing up. I had a cassette player and a CD player. I listened to the Misfits a lot. I listened to a lot of good, like the Mighty Mighty Boss Stones. I listened to a lot of Pure Moods albums, which just sounds funny, but it got me in my zone.
Whatever gets you in your zone, man.
Exactly. And
I think that's kind of funny, Mighty Mighty Boss Stones.
The Mighty Mighty Boss Stones, dude. You know, and I listened to Low Rider. You know, and so with them too, funny. I had them on cassette, and I always had visions and movies playing in my head, even as a child. And when I got into the filmmaking kind of sub-industry, I had Windows Movie Maker, and I had, I'm now 11 years old with a 1.4 megapixel camera that only shoots for 1 minute and 12 seconds, and I'm making it happen. And, and I was even passing out business cards in middle school. Hey, you need a skateboard video done? Hey, you want your classwork project done? And when I hit high school, my senior year, I went into film programs in class. I did film school studies with Mr. Hatch and Frontier. By my senior year, I produced over 28 student films, all for $50. A lot of times I didn't get paid, and I learned how the business worked even in high school. I guaranteed you an A or your money back. And yeah, exactly. And so after that, I had a little rough spell after I turned 18 and kind of walked away from the movie scene for a while. But then I went to Los Angeles Film School when I was right on the, when I was 19, and Hollywood kind of crushed my dreams, not on the asset of like I can't do this, but the industry and their business wasn't my business. It wasn't how the way I want to run things. I want to shake your hand and say, I guarantee you I'm going to do this. Right. Not give you the runaround, the turnaround, and then, oh my God, the guy who hands you your flip-flops doesn't want to show up, so you can't film today. What do you how much does it cost to film this, Ted? Oh, we first got to start off with an $800 permit before we can even talk. And then there's all these side deals and this, and so I lost the hope for filmmaking, came back to Bakersfield, and thought I need to develop a game plan, a business plan. And I stayed for about 3 years kind of examining the market, seeing where YouTube went, seeing where Facebook went, seeing how Instagram worked. And I said, okay, we have a game plan. I got together with my business partner, Michael Bonanno, and I said, we need to start a film company, and we need to do it the right way. And so he does scoring, he does videography. I'm kind of like the mini brains of the operation. We all collaborate together. But for the most part, DryHippo started in a backyard about a year ago from around this time when spring of first, started. So we kind of got together and said, what's going to be the name of the film company? And funnily, one of our other business partners, Tony, he goes, why not DryHippo? I already own all the names to it. I already own all the stuff to it. And I thought, DryHippo. What's a DryHippo? But it worked.
Are you talking about the same Tony I'm talking about?
No.
Okay. So when Tony, I always struggle on that guy's name, man. I called him Tony for the longest time.
We call him T-Wolf.
Tony. So when I met Tony, he introduced me to you guys, and I said, that's a unique name, man. I mean, DryHippo. Okay. But as I've got to know you guys, man, you're very professional. First time I actually worked, I guess, alongside you guys was at the
Aviator show, B-Riders.
It was the Kings of Carnage show. Aviators play there. Yeah. And Bethany was taking pictures of the guys, and I'm real close to Kings of Carnage. And after that, they said, all the photo shots we've done, we would have never thought, let's go on the side of a building at night and use minimal lighting. But that shit turned out awesome.
Yes.
You know what I noticed, and the more I do this podcasting thing, what stands out most to me is the amount of passion. Because somebody who has passion for what they're doing is going to succeed no matter what, 9 times out of 10, as opposed to somebody who's just got the money and wants to do it. Exactly. Does that make sense?
No, it does. It's like the kid who his parents went out and bought him a brand new skateboard, Element board. They got him the best bearings, the best trucks. They got him the best everything.
But he can't even ollie.
He can't even fucking ollie.
Yeah.
And that to me was it's the kid whose parents bought him the guitar, the amp, the Marshall stack, the badass guitar. What am I going to say out brands here? But got him everything he needed, and then got him the tutor to train him. And maybe 2 weeks later, he just goes, "Hey, you know what? Fuck this," and he kind of just moves on to, I want to be not a rock star, but I will now want to be an actor. And it doesn't work. It does not work that way.
You have to have passion, man. And for the longest time, I wanted to get into radio. When I got out of the Army, I was confused. I didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do. My whole life, I had planned on retiring in the Army. That was me, dude. I was a fucking soldier. Like, I was an infantryman. That was all I cared about. But I always did want to get into radio. Listening to podcasts, and big AM radio fan. I was listening to talk radio in junior high, dude. I was grounded a lot, so all I had was a fucking old radio in my room. My mom would take everything, so I got into it early. I had this passion that my co-host Randy kind of lit that fuse. I admire passion, dude, and I have a passion for podcasting. You have a passion for what you do, and it fucking shows, dude. I mean, it shows in everything that you do. When I saw the first promo video you did, who'd you do it for the first one? You did it, it was the beard stuff commercial.
Yeah, the beard stuff
When
commercial.
I saw that, man, because I hadn't really seen much of what you've done aside from your Facebook page and then working with Bethany at that show. But when I saw that, I was really, really impressed, man. Not that I thought any less of you, but because your passion showed in it. I've seen you walk around. I've seen your equipment. You got good equipment, too, which helps when you have a passion. But I admire you, man. I think that's good shit what you do. I mean, it shows, and, I mean, that's what matters. I mean, passion drives success. And with anything, selling cars, fucking real estate, podcasting videos. So, man, kudos to you. I really do like what you're into, man.
On that, I appreciate that coming from you because, like I said before, when we talked about doing the interviews prior to Bakersfield Rocks the Fox, when we talked prior to the show and the success of the show, when I came and did your first interview for your promo, we sat down, and we got that out of the way. I told you that when I went to film school and I was with the Los Angeles Film School, I worked with a lot of veterans. My grandfather is a veteran, and when the show was based on veterans, a lot of my, believe it or not, I work with the realty company Remax. Glenn Porter is a veteran, and he's,
I know Glenn real well.
And it's weird. Bakersfield's such a small, big city, town. However, and to me, coming from my grandfather came from Vietnam, and that you served. Besides small business alone, and marketing, coming up with ideas. I honestly, before filmmaking and before I was deciding on a path, before becoming a filmmaker and going to Los Angeles and going to Hollywood, I honestly was thinking about going into the Navy, but they told me at that time that they don't take, this isn't fat camp, because I weighed like 350 pounds. So I really wanted to, the time, thought I would love to serve my country because my grandfather did, and I didn't get a chance to do so. So I went with the second option, which was my passion, was filmmaking. But I told myself that if I'm going to have to go this route financially, it's going to be a bind because if I got out of the military, they paid for my film school. They paid for my things. I'd get grants, and I saw other veterans come into my film school who had paid way, $50,000. There you go, from because you paid your way for serving your country. And since I couldn't go that route and I had to go like the student loan route and get things signed, and I was getting laughed at being told, this industry you're getting into, you don't know anybody, and if you don't have connections, you're going to fail. You're going to spend all this money, and you're going to be digging yourself out of a grave. Well, I'm still digging, but I'm getting to the top. It feels good.
Yeah, dude, I love watching people start out. Because I got out of high school, worked in the oil fields, watched 2 buildings fall down. I'm in the Army. Outside of that, I don't have a whole lot of experience in the civilian world. So me doing this podcast with Randy and starting out, I appreciate watching other people start out and do things, man. So like watching, how long have you been doing this?
Respectively, consistently since I was, I want to say, officially 13 years old.
But with the DryHippo part,
DryHippo started last year, so I've been doing this for less than a year, basically, and where we're at now.
Well, and see, that's what I'm saying is by watching, like, 'cause when I look at you, and I've had other guests in here, supplement guys, fitness guys, and I look at what they're doing, and they're showing the passion, and they're starting out. They're like, I could look at somebody and say, yeah, in 5 years, you're probably going to be doing something else. But then I look at like you, and it's like, dude, I could see you in 5 years because you carry yourself that way. You want to drive. You want that success, Yeah. And I like working with people like you because who the fuck knows where either one of us will be in 5 years.
Exactly.
To me, yeah, dude, to me, the sky's the fucking limit. When you talk about the whole Hollywood, how it wasn't you, dude, radio's not me. I know exactly what you're talking about because when you get into the big radio, big Hollywood, big TV, it's almost too difficult to get into it by yourself. You gotta,
My dad doesn't tee off with with Spielberg, or he doesn't go hang out with Michael Bay at the country club.
My dad started out cleaning pools. Now he does a lot more. But my dad wasn't golfing at Seven Oaks Country Club and shit, dude. You and I were just normal kids, and along with Randy and all these other people I talk to who just have passions, man. And dude, when you go places and you meet someone, they're like, yeah, man, hey, I saw that. It makes you feel good. Yep. It has to, right? Yep. And so that's cool.
What's funny is on that note, we walked into B Riders a few weeks ago for Will Slicker from the Aviators. It was his 21st birthday. Congratulations on that and making it to 21.
Finally.
I never would have thought that kid would make it to 21. But he did, and we walked into Beat Writers, and Daniel approached me. He's another guitar player in the Aviators. He came up to me and goes, I'm so glad, DryHippo made it to the party. And I said, we're missing Michael. And he goes, that's fine. But he goes, I looked at everyone that was looking at us, and I said, I don't know really anyone here, but I'll introduce myself. He goes, don't worry about it, buddy. Everyone pretty much in this room knows who you are. You're DryHippo. And I took it at a glance, and I don't want to say be conceited and call myself humble, but I kind of laughed about it. I was like, oh, what's he? Goes, no, believe me, everyone pretty much in this bar knows who you are.
And isn't that a fucking amazing feeling, weird. Dude? That is awesome, dude. That's so cool.
It's very weird.
Man, I like bouncing off you because I had a similar experience at the Slayer concert.
Okay.
So I said, you know what? Because there's Periscope and there's Facebook Live where you can go live on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I said, I wonder if anybody's ever gone in a Slayer mosh pit on Periscope or on Facebook Live. Probably not. So I said, fuck it, I'll do it. I'm going through the mosh pit and trying not to drop my phone or lose a shoe or get beat up. I'm a small guy, so, the last Slayer pit I went into, I broke my ankle. So, anyways, I get out of it, and some guy grabs me. He's like, Chad Garcia, Chadman and Randy show, hey. Well, that's a good feeling when someone recognizes you and they know you. And it just tells you that you're doing good shit, man.
It does. And you know what? And I appreciate everyone on the ticket for the Bakersfield Rocks, the Fox show. Everyone I had my own connection with, and my girlfriend, Bethany, and one of my best friends, Michael, we worked very hard to make sure the promotions were legit.
You guys did a great job.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure that everything was crafted by as if this is going to represent our company. We're working with the Fox Theater. For us, that's big. I'm gonna step off my little small little bar stool high horse here and say that I was intimidated when I walked into the Fox because we had a lot of people looking at us like this is either make it or break it right now, because I don't want to be that guy who's like, this guy's a fucking joke. I don't want people to put me in that category. And so, taking that time invested in the artwork that was illustrated, in the right promotion, the right time, the right performance, if I could execute that perfectively, then I feel like I did my part. If I kept my word, and if I told people, hey, I'm going to make this happen for you, and they were like, okay, yeah, sure, and even at last minute, even if I can, whatever I can do to honor my word, I want to make sure I got it done. And I'm glad that everyone at the Fox Theater, Tone from Wolf Creek, the Chadman and Randy show, all the bands, Il Tiempo, Kings of Carnage, the Aviators, Art Machuca, and then, of course, Edema, which was a pleasure to work with.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
I wanted to make sure that everyone knew that we were legit, and that legitness was the show, if that makes sense.
We're going to have our post-show episode all about it coming up. The cool thing about it is that the music scene in Bakersfield, for all intents and purposes, is actually very important. Going back to the Buck Owens, Merle Haggard days, Korn. Dima plays a good part in it.
I don't want to make this old news, but Batman vs. Superman.
Yeah,
we kind of talked a little bit about that.
If you guys haven't listened to our Randy and I's episode that we did, our Batman Superman review, I gave it a 7 out of 10.
C-. See, that's pretty much a 7 out of 10 would be kind of considered to be a C-. But I give it a nice good. When in class, when the teacher comes up to you and she hands hopefully you pass that test, and she hands you your Scantron, and you look at it and it says 71%, and then you knew if you got a 69, Dad was going to beat your ass.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I got that 71%.
Yeah. So it's funny because Randy and I, we just did this, so it's all fresh in my head. What I didn't like most, man, there was a lot of things I didn't like about it, but Doomsday, the whole Doomsday aspect was wrong. It was just wrong. It shouldn't have been thrown in like that. It didn't even need Doomsday in it, really. Maybe it did, I don't know, but it just seemed cheesy, corny, and full of holes.
Yeah, my take on it is that I didn't mind Batfleck. I didn't mind Ben Affleck I didn't mind him being Batman. Superman, he's whatever. He's the same. In the last movie, he's kind of just like, stop, don't do it, Batman. I'm here to help you. He's not really a justified character because he's a Superman. We know he's the almighty Superman. Yeah, okay, cool. But when Batman gets involved and he gets Kryptonite and Lex Luthor, come on, I really like Jesse as an actor. But
horrible Lex Luthor.
I thought, okay, this is his son. He's playing like the snooty rock. If this is a character archetype where we're going to take him and build him and make him somewhere more evil, that's fine. The whole Justice League thing that was thrown in just out of the blue off a laptop, I don't like it when people use scenes behind a laptop or behind a computer. Then they just spoon feed you the information of, oh, but ready for a Justice League.
Yeah, so that's what Randy and I were joking about too on that episode, is that how convenient that Lex Luthor, when he was doing his research on metahumans, that he already gave them logos. He already did you notice that?
Yeah,
he already gave like Wonder Woman her logo. When you open up her file, it's the Wonder Woman logo. You open up the Flash file. The kid is just seen in a convenience store running fast, stopping a robbery. He hasn't even the Flash yet, but you've conveniently given him the Flash logo. Yep. And then Aquaman is this dude underwater, who, by the way, come on, dude. Aquaman's a blonde guy with a fucking...
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to make him Jason Momoa from Game of Thrones with long, luscious black hair and a beard?
Yep.
It lost me. But, I mean, it was cool watching it and
yeah.
actually seeing Batman and Superman in the same movie. And, yeah, Wonder Woman for that effect, too. I thought her entrance was fucking stupid, but...
You know what? And I'll give the respect as a film, as a soon-to-be, movie. I haven't made any kind of short films or movies yet, and we are about to invest into that market soon. But what I would like to say is Zack Snyder, he always makes a beautiful-looking movie. I like the way he goes. When Wonder Woman jumped and she was like, rah, and then her sword came out, I thought, man, that's 300 all over again, but I love it. The darkness of it, it was kind of a really gloomy film. They've all been that way, but it worked for me. Zack Snyder, I feel like he needs to get more on the visual effects department. Still needs to have a strong hand in that sense, but you need to bring in not just a better writer for the movie, because it was the writing was terrible, but a person who's actually, if you're going to power drive a story that's really strong and it's Batman vs Superman, you're gonna focus just on visuals, you also need to focus on the story and the directing.
One thing Randy and I agree on too is that the film industry, and I know you probably agree on this, it has so much influence over our lives.
It does.
These movies aren't just a dude dressed as a bat and a guy with superhuman powers flying around. No, man, the meaning behind these movies have so much influence on our daily life. Art imitates life. So when they make them, you would think that they would give them a little bit of more hope, a little bit more. It seemed like at the end of this, it was just like, oh, fuck, man, everything's gone to shit. Because Randy and I feel that right now, people don't, in the real world, they don't have a whole lot of hope. So these movies should be promoting more hope, more aspiration for a better world, and they really don't. Instead, all you see is, like, destruction, fucking death, and just nothing good. It was a good movie, but it just didn't end on a high note.
No.
It didn't end on a high note, and it didn't end with any kind of... I mean, obviously, they're going to come out with more, but I don't know. It's just filled with holes. I'm not a DC guy. Did you read comic books growing up?
No, but I did have a few articles of The Amazing Spider-Man, and I really don't like The Amazing Spider-Man movies, but magazine article. Comic book wise, I had Star Wars comics. And that
You're a Star Wars guy.
Yeah,
okay.
I had Star Wars comics. So I had a lot of the Stormtrooper, like the life of the Stormtrooper, like on Kashyyyk, when they're sitting down there, and you get to live the life of a Stormtrooper and his politics and what he thinks. I wasn't really into the Jedis. I wasn't really too much into the Sith. I love the commanding officers and the starships.
Really?
I like that take.
That's cool.
Did
you play that new game on the new Battlefront game?
Yeah, we have Battlefront in the house.
Yeah.
And so
I like it.
Yeah, we have it on PS4, and then and what I like about the commanding officers and the guy who runs the Star, the Star Destroyer, and in that whole sense is. There is not a balance there, but there is something that's ruling over them that keeps everyone collective. And if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't have all the fleets. You wouldn't have the army that's there.
You wouldn't have you need the manpower to actually make sure that these people can fly around having their lightsaber battles.
Exactly. Yeah, you need that. You need that structure, and that's what I love about it. It's structure.
That's pretty unique, man. That tells me a lot about the way you think, because most people don't look into that. That's actually that's pretty cool.
Yeah, think about it.
That's cool.
Think about if you just threw Darth Vader on the land. They didn't have the Death Star. He didn't have all that structure and power that he's developed. And
he's just a guy in a black costume.
Well, then you have the Emperor, of course, and the power goes on. But let's just focus on the manpower, the general labor, the respect that these commanding officers and stormtroopers and everyone that's involved has for their leaders.
I'm more of a... When I look at Star Wars, I'm a big Star Wars fan, too. I named my son Anakin, so, I mean... I'm pretty deep, but I like the whole battle between good versus evil, dark versus light. I like
Let me get your perspective on this, and this is what I want to question: is light or is darkness, when we categorize them, is the light the evil one, or is the darkness the evil one? And what I've always liked to question is, darkness was there before the light. Who came in and swept darkness away from, came in and invaded darkness? Was light. So let's think. You had darkness before the light. Even if you put it back to the Big Bang and go into religion, we won't get too far to that. But if light swept in and darkness was already there, who is the real threat? And that's the way I look at Star Wars.
Exactly. And you see these characters who did turn to the dark side. They were, for the most part, they were once good, right? I mean, you look at majority of them, they were once good, or they had some kind of aspiring goodness in their heart and something. Yeah, I think it's pretty much equal. Exactly. It's the whole yin yang. They balance each other out, and yeah, I love it, man. There's a thing History Channel did a couple years back, maybe 5-6 years ago, might have been longer, but it was like on Star Wars, and it's like the psychology of Star Wars, and they brought in different people from walks of life, politicians and shit, talking about Star Wars. And they talked about that very same thing. That's what I get out of it, and that's what I get about these movies, man. So when they disappoint me, like fucking Batman vs Superman, like damn, dude, this is not what.
How many times in these movies do the police officers need to be a piece of shit or a joke? How many times do like the army that we come in to save the day? They're just, here comes all their choppers, they're all on the ground, Like how many times we have to undersell?
Those are lives. Those are people.
How many times we have to undersell like every movie you see? I'm going to say every movie you see. Find me 3 that's not like this, where here comes good guy, here comes bad guy. Oh, wait, hold on, we fucked over the good guy a little bit. Here comes the army because we thought we could do it ourselves. Or here comes our military force because we thought we could do it ourselves. And just like the helicopters, the Blacks, the Black Hawks, everything gets wiped down. The super jets get thrown away. These guys are just shooting like walls and not even shooting. I mean, there's no train there. We make them seem lower than
what they really are. Because in the real world, that's who we have to fight our battles. No, I feel you. We're always kind of like expendable in movies.
How do cops feel every time they watch a movie and like they're like, oh, here comes Spider-Man, and all of a sudden you see a guy with a cup of coffee, he's walking out, he's spilling his donut. Yeah. But it's every time. If you're gonna make a film that's nitty and gritty, black and blue, like Batman vs Superman, you're gonna try to go realistic, and Batman's gonna go and kill motherfuckers, and he's gonna shoot down people, and regardless how these little things, why not we at least give some form of hope to not just law enforcement but military if we're gonna try to go realistic? Because realistically, if we try to go a little bit realistic in that movie, half that shit wouldn't even happen.
And that is where you come in, man. That, I think, is where something you should focus on in the future, man. Because, nobody has that drive. No. Everyone's focused on the big bam, the pop, the kapow.
Going back to the Death Star and the starships. And
that's cool. That's actually pretty cool, man. I think I'm glad to see that you have some kind of vision towards something like that. That's neat, man.
Yeah, I love structure, and I love uniform, and I love order, not just because I've never been in the military, not just that, but in a life sense. If you keep your kitchen clean, people are going to want to eat your food. If you keep your house clean, people are going to want to come over more. If you have structure and you have uniform into your life and you make that a balance, people will see you in a different category, and that was some knowledge given to me from my dad.
Awesome. Yeah. And that set you on the path you're on. And, dude, it's honestly, man, sitting here talking, because this is like the real first conversation you and I have had. That's cool, man. And I'm actually really excited I got you in here and that we've been working together. Looking forward to doing some stuff in the future.
Gotcha.
Awesome, man. Where can people find DryHippo if they're interested in really anything?
If you just go to Google search, like with any problem you have, or let's say anytime you've needed a question, people Google search everything. If you just go to Google search, all lowercase letters, if you just typed in DryHippo, DryHippo, we own
2
everything.
words, right?
No spaces.
No spaces.
No spaces.
No spaces.
Even if you did a space, it's going to say, did you mean? And you're going to have the right DryHippo.
Okay.
Anything in that link, because if you look up DryHippo, there is none of those 2 words ever put together.
No, never. I got to admit, that was the first time I heard that.
So anytime you put in DryHippo into anything you do, the Instagram, the Facebook, the YouTube, we do have our Instagram under DryHippo Media because we actually locked in DryHippo on Instagram, and then we locked that so no one could take it from us. And then we went with DryHippo Media to kind of separate how our Instagram works versus how our YouTube works versus how our Facebook works. Every 3 main ones that we use integrated with our Twitter are designed for different platforms. Our Instagram one is for more of your 15-second audience. Our YouTube one is more of like our professional, what we do for real estate, what we do for small business, and what we would like to share longer promotional videos on our YouTube. Our Facebook DryHippo is our main DryHippo format, and that's where you're going to find mostly everything, keep you involved, keep you connected, and that way you can talk to me one-on-one, you can talk to Beth one-on-one, you can talk to Michael one-on-one. So we like to keep that integrated system all working in unison of what they're providing and what they're used for. So DryHippo, type it in Google search, you'll find it. Find us, follow us, be like us, stay hip.
You know what? I think there's this movement in Bakersfield going on that involves music, film, podcasting, and I think we're kind of in the same crowd. So,
Yes,
we'll be working together. Check them out, and we'll add some links to this episode on our Facebook page. And, man, give these guys – check out some of the videos they're making, man. Check out some of the promos, and be on the lookout, man. DryHippo. Jacob, thanks for coming on, man.
Thank you,
I
Chad.
appreciate it. Bethany, Mike, thank you for everything. And this is Chadman and Randy Show. Out.